can't make this shit up. Kellen Clark, David Washington, your host, and we are here at the Oxford Sports Pub, and Secret Society here in the great town of Altamont Springs. And I'm gonna just get into it right here.
Heck yeah.
Dairy Queen pulled an ad recently featuring Florida Governor Ron DeSantis after some customers criticized him. The company said it did not intend to endorse any political candidate in this ad. The decision was met with mixed reactions. Some praised Dairy Queen for taking a stand, while others said, hey, the company was caving in to pressure. The backlash is the latest example of political polarization, and the U.S. businesses are increasingly caught in the crossfire of partisan battles. Dairy Queen ad is a reminder that businesses are not immune to the political climate. As the country becomes more polarized, businesses will need to decide how they want to engage with politics. Hey, personally, I prefer Kelly's homemade ice cream here in Central Florida. Joel is more of a Dairy Queen guy. Kellen?
Oh, one of my ice creams? Well, Dairy Queen Dairy Queen nearest to me only takes cash, so I'm good.
All right.
I have this local place on Merritt Island called My Island Ice Cream. They have like 90 some odd flavors. It's amazing.
There you go. Well, let's all get a scoop. Let's go. Kellen, what do you think about this whole situation with the Dairy Queen ad and with DeSantis connecting with folks?
So we can obviously focus on the business perspective, but businesses are just going to do what they think is best for business.
Exactly.
And I don't think it's a substantial deal. Like a lot of people put huge stock into, businesses have to agree with all my positions and everything. But businesses, every time they do that, will sacrifice another block of customers. So something like this, I don't think they were bound to keep it up for long. What I think is interesting was DeSantis's decision to do what he did. Because this started because Donald Trump went to a Dairy Queen and reportedly didn't know what a blizzard was.
Right.
His assistants just say ice cream to him, I guess. And so DeSantis was like, oh, this is it. The golden opportunity. I'm going to go to Dairy Queen. I'm going to order a blizzard and be like, I love blizzards, man. I know what a blizzard is. But I thought that it was a very kind of tone-deaf thing to do because
a little contrived.
First off, it was a little contrived, a little forced. But my biggest problem is that DeSantis already lives in the shadow of Donald Trump in more ways than a couple.
Sure.
His 2018 campaign, a lot of it hinged on him being Trump's guy.
Yes.
Everybody up until DeSantis was going to run for president, DeSantis and Trump were like the dynamic duo, okay? Except Trump's the big lad, DeSantis was the sidekick. And what he's doing is he keeps chasing after Trump instead of being his own man.
That's right.
What did you take away from it?
I took the same premise from this. DeSantis it appears to me is playing catch up. The campaign is reacting than being proactive.
Mm.
And when they try to put DeSantis in a human form, so to speak, it just comes off as contrived and unrelatable. And the DeSantis that I know, that I've seen in person or on television, is not the most welcoming or warm personality.
No.
And to try to one up Trump, I call them one upisms among my friends, trying to one up Trump just kind of comes off as phony.
Yeah, one up more like one Trump. But I'm now firing myself for that.
and you being Jay in Washington's social media manager, you understand moments where things can go viral or just fall flat and be a little mini disaster. And it seems like DeSantis and his team have been trying to find those moments.
They have. And it's very easy to lose goodwill with people on social media. It's very easy to crash and burn at every opportunity. Building a positive, like a consistent positive
message.
yeah, I guess message, but interaction with voters.
Okay.
A positive interaction with your voters. That is something that cultivates over
Right.
time. And
Good
it's
point.
and social media itself, though supplementary to a campaign, is not the full of the campaign at all. Because most people are not going to follow a politician on social media. What you do on social media is you keep your current base, you hold your current voter base, and you turn one or two heads by giving you an outlet to talk to your voters. It gives you a personal outlet. It's not like a speech where you're saying this long scripted thing to thousands of people. Social media is an opportunity to speak directly to your voters.
Exactly.
And that is what he is missing hard. Because he's trying, and this was an attempt. He was like, I like blizzards too, just like you. But what he needs to do is stop making it about his opponents. And this is something a lot of Republicans need to do. It's not just DeSantis, but everybody's hinging their campaign on, I'm better than Trump. I'm less extreme than Trump. What personality do they have? It's cardboard.
Right.
And that's what this comes across as well as everything most of the others do.
You said some really good points. Coming off as cardboard. Yes, the personality is not coming through, the lens. And going back to having a connection with voters. And this was stated in the earlier podcast by Joel and by us in general. Relationships, creating relationships. And that's just what makes a candidate like former President Trump, former President Obama so unique, is that they're able to cultivate relationships on the fly and with their mannerisms, with their charm, or with former President Trump, the fact that he's been in business and he understands the importance of building relationships and is able to cultivate relationships, make things personable.
Yes. And not to mention, there's this idea of name brand versus generic, that there are so many people, even though a generic is cheaper, this is especially true with things like over-the-counter painkillers, people prefer the name brands, even if the difference is minuscule.
That's true.
And that's what that's where I think DeSantis doesn't really have a shot, because he's wanting to be young Donald Trump.
Right.
People are not going to go for the generic brand. They're going for the real deal.
They're
going for the Big Don.
Exactly.
And everybody else, they're hinging themselves all around Donald Trump. They're basing themselves around their opponent. Donald Trump got big because of his name calling. He got big because he was disruptive. He was obviously different from the people around him. For better or for worse, you be the judge. Everybody is now trying to be like Trump.
If there was I'm sorry, Kellen.
And they don't understand what made Donald Trump special, what made him disruptive, what made him effective was being different.
Exactly. And if there's ever a political innovator in our modern times, it would be at that level, at that national level, presidential politics, it would be Donald Trump in his campaign in 2016.
It would.
He redefined how to run for president. And again, it's lessons learned. It's lessons that are being learned to this day for both parties. And you again, relationships, owning the tone, setting the tone of a campaign, and also defining your competitors means a lot. It means a lot.
It does. And Donald Trump is a confrontational guy. He is all about oratory combat with his opponents. He's all about calling Jeb Bush a pussy. He's all about calling Marco Rubio spineless.
Right.
Christie himself.
Yes.
He's
DeSantis
all
meatball.
about that was a funny one. I forgot about that one. If you're going to outdo Donald Trump, Division is one of the most heated things in America. So many voters want to get away from division. If you want to defeat Donald Trump, you have to sell a message of unity with just as much showmanship.
Agreed. That's a very good point.
And the people who are trying to go behind that banner, they're like, I believe that I can unify the country. I'm a strong leader. You're not selling people.
It's gonna put me to sleep.
It puts people to sleep.
You know, my final note on this is that it's when you're trying too hard to make that viral moment, you're typically not going to have a viral moment. Those moments come naturally, and unfortunately, the governor's campaign doesn't feel natural. It doesn't come off as natural. The governor doesn't come off as comfortable in his own skin. And it's unfortunate. Kellen, your
final word is for one, I'm going to start by disagreeing. You can't manufacture personality. You are who you are. And second, and going off of that, do not copy your opponents. It is not about blending into your opponent and being a slightly better version of your opponent. It's about being your own man or woman and owning it. With that, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, follow us on all your social media, or else Joel will be very sad.
Can't make this shit up.